Hey guys, welcome back to Berry's Corner. It's Emily here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys some enemies to lovers book recommendations. There are many tropes in books that just grab readers' attention, especially in romance books. Enemies to lovers is one of the most popular ones, and I don't know, it's just something about the two main love interests hating each other and going through all that angst to finally love each other. It just gets us every single time. So these are some recommendations for you guys if you want to find some new books with that trope in them. But before I begin, please subscribe, comment down below, like this video. All of my social links are down in the description box below, as well as my Amazon wishlist if you would like to gift me a book. Now let's get on into the video. I think the reason that Enemies to Lovers is so popular is because it not only exists in romance books, but fantasy books as well. This is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, and this follows a girl named Jude, and her parents are killed by a fairy. That same fairy takes her and her two sisters to the land of fairy, where they live out the rest of their life. However, Jude, although her sisters kind of have mixed emotions about if they like fairy, if they don't, Jude really wants to become a part of the fairy court, but that's kind of impossible because fairies despise humans. So this book, okay, I have mixed emotions on this book. This book as a whole, I didn't find great for my personal taste. In this book specifically, the political aspect takes the forefront of the story, and that's not my thing. We get sprinkles of romance in this book with the prince, Carden, who is very, very mean, cruel towards her. So, I mean, it does enemies to lovers really, really well, but I feel like it's such a slow burn and you get it all throughout the trilogy, and I think that's why a lot of people love this story, because it is a really good slow burn. However, for me, I want my romance right away, and so I'm not really big on the political aspect of fantasy books because I don't really read it a lot, but if that's your thing, definitely pick this up. I gave this a 3.5 stars. I felt like in this book it was a lot of tell and not showing. So for some people, this really, really worked. I have an unpopular opinion, and a lot of people give this book a 5 out of 5 stars, but I will say that as this trilogy went on, I found each book to get better and better. I gave this book a 3.5, I gave the second book a 4, and the last and final book, The Queen of Nothing, I gave a 5 out of 5 stars. So I mostly gave it a 3 stars because the romance in this book, even though every single time I saw them together, I definitely saw a connection, I definitely saw a spark. I felt like we were reaching and reaching. So if you're mainly going into this book for romance, don't pick it up. But I mean, if you like the political aspect and you want to see that slow burn romance, it's definitely worth the read. Oh my gosh, the last book, their relationship is so freaking cute that it's like the epitome of enemies to lovers in a fantasy book. It's so freaking good. So definitely pick it up if you are looking for a good fairy fantasy read. The next book is a dystopian novel, which is Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi. This follows a girl named Juliet, and her touch is lethal. Whenever she touches you, she can kind of absorb your power, and it definitely hurts you, and you can die. So one day, a little boy falls over, and she tries to pick him up, but she kills him instead, and she gets put into an insane asylum. But while she's in there for like 7 years, the world around her is changing, and a reestablishment is taking over, which is kind of evil. So one day a guy named Adam comes into her cell, kind of like a roommate, and he brings her out and brings her to the reestablishment, and then it kind of follows her journey. So in the first book, it is definitely not a hate to love romance, but in the second and third book, I'm not going to spoil you, but the hate to love romance is really, really there, and it's a love triangle type of thing. It's so freaking good. There are multiple tropes in this book, so I guess you could also call this I hate everybody in the world but you. That trope is absolutely amazing, and it's definitely in this book. Oh my gosh, just their love for one another is so cool, because it's not only just like, oh, I find you attractive and you make me feel like sexy, I guess, but it's also you make me a better person and you make me proud of my powers and who I am. And I feel like she really truly grew in herself, and it is honestly not only because of herself but because of that person, and I loved it so freaking much. I'm not gonna give any names because I guess that's a spoiler if you haven't gotten past the first book, but it is so good, and I believe the first book is kind of bad. It is written in the early 2000s, and I definitely see the mistakes and the flaws, but once you get to the second book and the third, It is absolutely amazing. I mean, not maybe amazing, but like so good. It's so good. Just go in for that good angsty romance and you will get it. Now on to romance. This is a YA romance called Tweet Cute by Emma Lord. This book is honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, near perfection. Like, it's so good. There's so many levels to this book and nothing is left undone, nothing is left unsaid, and it's just perfect. It leaves you just with so much satisfaction, and just the romance is the cutest thing ever. This follows a girl named Pepper and a guy named Jack, and both of their families has a food company. So her family has a famous fast food burger joint, and so her family kind of gets in a scandal where they steal Jack's family's local sub shop's grilled cheese recipe. And what's so cute is that they're fighting over a stolen grilled cheese, and their ship name is Pepper Jack. Isn't that the cutest thing ever? Like, come on. The author really did right by that ship name. But not only are they having a Twitter feud, because it's Tweet Cute, so they have a little Twitter feud, and Jack and Pepper on the respective sides of that. Not only that are they having a Twitter feud, but there's so many other levels because Jack makes an app where it's an anonymous app that you can talk to other people from their school, and they're talking to each other anonymously, and in real life they kind of don't like each other at all. And so they're kind of becoming friends outside of all of that. And then there is an anonymous app, and then there's the Twitter feud, and it's so many levels, but it's done so well. And I know this is kind of confusing, but just trust me on this. Although it kind of sounds weird and sounds like it wouldn't work, it definitely works. I saw this on somebody's favorite books of the year, and this was the only YA book on there, and it was a YA romance, and it was just so freaking cute at the end when they got together, because of course they're gonna get together. Just, guys, I just wanted to see them go on dates. I just wanted to see more of them because they were just honestly the cutest couple in a YA romance that I had seen in a while. And honestly, I think out of all of these books, I truly recommend this one if you're looking for a YA hate to love romance. I do think that the romance or hate to love romance is a little bit subtler in here, but it's definitely there, and I really, really enjoyed it. The next book is another fantasy novel, which is Serpent Dove by Shelby Mahurin. This book, okay guys, I know I said The Cruel Prince was the epitome of enemies to lovers, but this book, oh my gosh. It follows a girl named Louise, who is a witch, and then a guy named Reed, who is a witch hunter. Does that not sound good? It does. But guess what? It gets even better because they are set up into an arranged marriage. Oh my gosh. Yes, I told you it would get better. So there's another witch that is causing a ruckus around the town, and Reed is trying to catch that witch. But being married to a witch, it kind of makes that hard. But what I really loved about this hate to love or enemies to lovers trope in this specific book was that even before he found out that she was a witch, he started falling for her because he kind of hated her even before he knew that she was a witch. She was like, oh, you're a hoe, oh, you're a bum, or you're just like some girl, like a prostitute out on the street, and now I have to marry you. It's kind of annoying. But he learns to love her with her sassy attitude and her back talk. Is that what it's called? Back talk? He learns to love her and all her rough edges, and then when he finds out that she's a witch, it just causes like this hard decision that he has to make that of course everybody loves, that he has to make that little decision. I don't know. I think if this synopsis intrigues you and you really like the fantasy enemies to lovers trope, definitely check this out. A lot of people thought that the first half was really good and then they kind of fell off in the second half, but for me, I personally wasn't attached to the characters at the beginning, and then I got really, really attached to them at the end. So it wasn't like my favorite, but I definitely think if this intrigues you, to definitely go ahead and read it. Guys, the next book is honestly on my favorite books of all time list. Like, I love this book so freaking much. It is Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. Oh my gosh, I love this book so much. This follows a girl named Alosa, and she is daughter of the Pirate King. And so the Pirate King sends her on a mission to retrieve this hidden map so that they can go to this island full of gold and all this good stuff. So Alosa allows herself to be captured by a rival pirate crew and to fulfill this mission and to get this map. However, the guy that what's that where they shine a light in your face? Interrogate. Oh my gosh. I knew it was like IT. Anyways, interrogate her, and they absolutely hate each other. But oh my gosh. The hate to love is so freaking good. It's so good. It's a slow burn. It's absolutely amazing. And what I love about this book is that yes, the plot is the forefront of the story, but also the romance is like neck and neck. Like it goes together so well, it blends together so well. It is so freaking good. The romance is just everything you want. It's so good. This is a duology. So the first book, what I can say about this book, I think I gave it a 4 or 4.5 out of 5 stars because the plot, I don't think I said that correctly. The plot was very simple, and I thought that that was, it was fine. It was okay. I was mostly there for the romance because the romance was super cute. But when you go on to the second book, 4.5 stars is a really good rating, by the way. So I'm just saying. But when you go on to the second book, it's 1,000 times better. I give it a 5 out of 5 stars. I would give it a 7 out of 5 stars if I could. The romance in the second book, absolutely amazing. Since it's the ending, you finally get that satisfaction of seeing them together. And then also I felt like the plot in the second book was a lot more complex. So just the duology as a whole is one of my favorite duologies of all time. Like it's so good. If you are looking for a fantasy novel that focuses on the romance as well as the plot, like they are like really neck and neck, this is the perfect book for you. Because like unlike The Crow Prince, it was mostly focused on the political aspect and the romance was kind of put on this back burner, but with this it's just right there at the forefront the whole entire time, and I really enjoyed it, and I really think that you guys will too. The next book is a YA romance called P.S. I Like You by Casey West. Guys, I give this book a 5 out of 5 stars. It is so cute. Everything that it says it's going to do is done so well, and it's just so incredibly cute. One day a girl named Lily scribbles some song lyrics on a desk, and it's like an indie band, so like nobody really knows who they are, whatever. It's like stereotypical. And so one day somebody, or like the next day, somebody scribbles back the rest of the lyrics as well as a note to her, and they start talking back and forth, but they don't know like each other's identities. And so it's kind of cute, kind of like an anonymous love story. However, outside of this, there's a guy that she hates, and I mean, you can probably already tell like who the person is, who like the anonymous person is. Guys, like it's just done so freaking well, because even outside she's like kind of growing soft to him, but not really, but like low-key. It's such a slow burn romance, and of course with YA, unlike adult novels, like in adult novels they're already having sex, they're already like, very much attracted to each other, but with this it's like truly trying to figure out their feelings, and it's so good. I loved it so much. And YA romance novels are like super short and super quick and easy to get through, so if you're looking for something just so cute and just so good, definitely give this a read. This next book is a sci-fi novel by Veronica Roth, which is Carve the Mark, and this is the author that wrote Divergent. I didn't even know that until somebody told me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I read this even before I read Divergent. But this book, please bear with me when I tell you the synopsis, because it's kind of long-winded and kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but it follows a girl named Syrah, and just like Shatter Me, Juliet and Shatter Me, she has a lethal touch, and whenever she touches you, she can absorb your energy and kill you. However, unlike Juliet and Shatter Me, she is always in pain 24/7. If she touches something or if she moves like really fast, she's in an insane amount of pain unless she's absorbing somebody else's energy. And so her brother uses her as kind of like an evil weapon to hurt people that he wants to I guess win over. I'm not sure, because her brother's like kind of like the ruler of this planet, because it's sci-fi. Guys, I know it sounds complicated. It's not complicated at all when you read it. But then there's this other guy named Akos, it switches perspective, and he is on another planet. He's the son of a farmer, but his brother gets taken by Syrah's brother, or like I guess the king of the planet, whatever. And so he's like, I am not going to let him get taken. And so he goes to the planet, and then they find out that he's the only person that can touch Syrah and relieve her of her pain. So that was kind of long-winded, and I'm sorry about that, but Akos hates Syrah because he, of course, thinks that she's evil and like hates her brother for taking his brother. But it is a hate-to-love romance, of course, because he always has to be there with her 24/7 to relieve her pain. And it's it's a big slow burn novel. I'm not gonna lie, because at the beginning I was like, yeah, I think that they're just gonna become friends, but then at the end you're like, oh, I see that they're not just friends. I see that. So I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, and the reason I didn't give it a 5 out of 5 stars is there's like not controversy going around. I don't really fully know the biggest controversy about this book. I feel like a lot of people said that there's not a lot of diversity. For me, it wasn't something that I really recognized, because I kind of saw them as aliens since they're on their own planet. But I do recognize that I guess we are reading them as kind of like humans. So I didn't really see any diversity in here, or I don't really know. Look that up. I'm not the person to talk about that with. But one thing that I really got from this novel that kind of triggered me in some ways is that the reason that it's called Carve the Mark is like when you kill somebody or like murder somebody, you have to carve a line on your wrist. And the explanation of that was a little bit detailed for me, and I was like, that is very, very triggering. So I was like, yeah, no. I still enjoyed and I totally understand it. I don't think that that's what she was trying to do, but it was a little bit triggering. So if that triggers you in any way, I don't recommend this book. But the hate to love romance in this book is really, really well done, and the slow burn is just so good. So good. I love how they both grow as a person, and it's just something that I definitely recommend if you can get past the carving of the wrist, if that makes sense. Now, all I can say about this last book is that I definitely saved the best for last. Guys, this book is truly just so amazing. It's on my top favorite books of all time list. The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Oh my gosh, I know I said the other books were the epitome of hate to love, but literally it says hate in the title. It is so good. This is an adult romance. It follows a girl named Lucy and a guy named Josh, and they are assistants to co-CEOs of this publishing company. So two rival publishing companies joined together during an economic crisis, and of course, since they were both on the other sides of the publishing company, they absolutely hate each other, and they sit across from each other every single day playing this sort of hating game where they try to make each other either laugh, cry, smile. I don't know. It's kind of like an ego boost. But there's a promotion going up and they are both in the running for it, and that hating game kind of gets in the way of that, and then hate turns to love, and it's so good. It's honestly, if you take any of the books out of the stack that you want to read, this is the one. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I think everybody gives this book a 5 out of 5 stars. It's so good. It's so amazing. It's perfectly done. Like, truly perfect. This is the most perfect adult romance there ever is, or ever was, or ever will be. Okay. Josh, the main male love interest, perfection. No guy will ever live up to Joshua Templeman. Like, oh my gosh, he's so amazing. Lucy is just so cute. Like, she's sassy but cute in herself, and she lives up to that, and it's honestly so cute. And seeing them better each other, seeing both of them, gosh, I'm so bad at words today. Seeing both of them stand up for each other with their family or in the office. Oh my gosh. And there's their little cute hating game. It was just adorable, smutty, cute, perfect, perfection. It was perfect. It was perfection. Guys, I'm serious. If you take any book out of this video, it is The Hating Game. Please go buy it right now. I will literally pay for you to, okay, I might not, but get it. It's so good. Those were all the enemies to lovers recommendations that I have for you guys today. I hope you got at least one book out of this that you really, really want to get. I love you guys so, so, so much. Please subscribe. Please do whatever you want to do, and goodbye.